Welcome to Hunkered Down with Seth. Today, we have something that is very rare. It's a friend I made after the quarantine started. Buddy of mine, we do whiskey and cheese comedy together, a Zoom open mic. You could check out everything on Hamizon.com, Hamizon, Amazon.com. And he's just a really funny guy, Torey Stroud. Torey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a good guy. What's new?
Not much, man. Just trying to make the best of the situation that we're in by, you know, being creative and doing things I might have distracted myself from before. So yeah, that's kind of my philosophy right now, I guess.
Yeah, nice. It's weird because we haven't really had a chance to talk one on one at all to get to know each other. What you live in Cleveland? What's your whole comedy background?
So I think, man, that's a deep question. So I think the best way to explain it would be how I got into liking comedy. I mean, I grew up liking comedy like any other normal person, but I was a medic in the Army and sometimes had to deal with some gory things or some unsavory things, and me and my friends discovered the best way to deal with it was through comedy.
Wow.
And I know that sounds weird or terrible. If we had the philosophy, if you don't laugh about it, you'll cry about it, so we rather laugh.
Yeah.
That's where I discovered maybe the power of comedy, and I know you can bridge so many gaps with comedy beyond that one experience that I had. So I started exploring more of that, and when I lived in Chicago, I took an open mic training class. It was about 4 or 5 sessions, and then I just started hitting some open mics. Mostly to crickets, but still, I was getting myself out there, and moved to Cleveland and met the Rossas, the other part of Whiskey and Cheese, and we started going to some open mics, and then quarantine hit, and we're like, hey, why not? Let's just make this thing virtual, and then that's where I met you.
Oh, cool. You said you lived in Chicago. Did you grow up in Chicago, or did you just happen to live there?
No, just happened to live there. I grew up about an hour west of Cleveland, so this is kind of like me coming home.
Yeah.
But we were in Nashville before Chicago, and my wife really wanted to study at Second City for improv and sketch writing and storytelling and all of that. So we just kind of followed her dream up there, and I was a teacher at the time. Teachers are employable anywhere, and
Yeah.
so we moved up and we lived there for a few years, and then decided we wanted to be closer to family. And Chicago is an amazing city, but man, for the class, for my socioeconomic class, it's a lot easier to live in Cleveland.
Yeah. Definitely, because I grew up in Milwaukee, right? So I know Chicago very well.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, and like I said, I got nothing to knock the city.
Yeah.
I really.
Oh, I do.
When I left Nashville, I was like, "Fuck this place! I'm so ready to leave." When I left Chicago, it was definitely bittersweet.
Definitely. Well, you just got to get to know the people in Chicago to hate them. So
Yeah.
but nothing against the city. It's just the Cubs fans I could do without. White Sox
Well,
White Sox fans I tend to get along with because I know they're dangerous. But Cubs fans, ugh, just stupid drunks.
absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. You really do know Chicago.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I got a sister who still lives in I want to say Oak Park.
Yeah.
By
It's
Wicker
like a
Park.
suburb.
Yeah, and my favorite deli's in Skokie. I've been to Wheaton. I know the area too well.
Yeah, Skokie's technically a suburb, but it's the only suburb that's really accessible from the city and also doesn't feel like a suburb. It's the only acceptable cool suburb to say you're from.
Yeah, it's not like what's that place where John Hughes filmed all this stuff, Schaumburg?
Oh That Schaumburg's like where like the IKEA's at and all the shopping malls are.
For sure. So you did comedy there. What were some of your favorite haunts in Chicago to do comedy?
Oh man, it's so funny. I find myself doing this so much when I was there. Like if people would ask me directions, I wouldn't tell you streets or places. I just kind of knew it. So I'm trying to. I could walk you right to these places, but now you're making me rack my brain for names.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: have
yeah.
you done Jokes and Notes?
No, what is that?
Oh, that was a place. I haven't done comedy in the Midwest since like 2010. So, let's see, maybe before Jokes and Notes was like a club up in Roosevelt. I want to say.
Okay.
Then there was the Beat Kitchen. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I heard of it, but I didn't go there.
Yeah, I did that. Good people there.
Yeah.
Dang, Chicago. I mean, you got the Zanies franchises. It's
right. I do know I would go down to IO from time to time. They had a good open mic. And it's something right on Clark. It's right in Wrigleyville. It's an Irish pub, which is an interesting place to do an open mic. But it was like Golden Fiddle or something, harp, something like that. Like I said, I could walk you right to it. But those were probably the two biggest ones I'd go to. And then there was another little one in Roscoe Village, and it was like in the basement of this bar. There was no microphone. It was just small enough. You just got up on a stage and talked. I mean, this little room, max capacity was probably like 25 people. It felt like a closet, but I also remember it was dog friendly, and the floors weren't finished, so all like the urine was just like soaking into the floorboards.
Jeez. Yeah, it's funny. Chicago's like LA and New York, where it's so big that there's all these little pockets of communities that very rarely intersect, but they're there.
Yeah.
If you go
if you look hard enough, you'll find it there.
Definitely, but it's also one of those things like, where I met Nicole, Seattle, and then there's Cleveland. There's like, the city is just so small you can't help but just be with everybody when you do comedy.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if we got off track or not, but we were talking about fantasy football.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You play?
Interesting thing. I recently dropped out of a league just because I wanted to. It was a league that I had a lot of fun, had a lot of friends in, but there was just one guy that turned me off from it, and I decided I wasn't going to go fantasy football this year.
No, that's understandable. I've had that thought many a times. I was going to make a joke about you being a quitter, but in all honesty, I absolutely have thought about that because the group I'm in is mostly friends from high school. There's been guys that have dropped out throughout the year, so we've added people that some of them I don't know, but we started with just a yearly redraft and then turned it to Dynasty, and then it's just been slowly amping up every year about how much activity you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they turned the hobby into kind of like a part-time job, and that kind of sucks the fun out of it. So
yeah.
But I'm still rolling with it. I mean, it is enjoyable.
Yeah, and I do want to define myself a little. This will be the first year I don't do fantasy football since 1998.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, you still got time to change your mind if you want.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But who are your keepers? What do you got?
Oh, man. All right, so quarterback, I just have Baker Mayfield in true Browns fan fashion right now.
Ouch.
I had Jacoby Brissett last year, and he helped balance it out. But after the Colts signed Rivers, Brissett became irrelevant, so I only have him right now. But I'll get another guy before the season starts. But the big names I just traded this offseason. I traded my actually first pick for Austin Eckler. it's just a bunch of, it's some could be's.
Yeah.
I got like Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen, Jarek McKinnon, Naheem Hines.
Yeah, I see what you did, because I went the same route last year. I thought I would take pass catching running backs, and
Yeah,
boy was I wrong. You know, my
yeah,
top two were Tariq Coleman and Devonta Freeman, and that
yeah. That's
just
not.
bit me.
Yeah, that's not great. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I'm pulling my team up right now. I kind of forget who I have, but definitely better at wide receiver. I have Cooper Kupp, T.Y. Hilton. Hold on, let me see who I got here. Yeah, Philip Dorsett, and Hunter Renfro. Then there's I feel like I have a really strong rookie class there too. I drafted Justin Jefferson. He's going to Minnesota. That should be a good pick.
Oh, you guys do a rookie draft too?
Yeah, so we only draft rookies. So,
oh wow.
So I started this team about 6 years ago. So I don't think there's anybody on my team from then. I'm trying to look. But yeah, so this team was completely started from scratch 6 years ago, and then whoever's on your team at the end of the season is still on your team, and then you draft rookies.
Wow. And you didn't try to just take a huge gamble and draft Burrow or Herbert or Tua?
Yeah, so Burrow and Tua both went in the second round. So, there's 12 teams, so I think they went early second, so you're thinking like 13, 14, 15 overall, something like that.
Yeah.
Just because it's a one-quarterback league, guys have quarterbacks, those guys don't have as much value. So the top five usually are going to be all running backs coming out. I traded my third overall to get Eckler. And then, but in that trade, I still got the 8th overall, and used that to get Justin Jefferson. So,
well, all right, good luck. I mean, personally, I would have taken Rager over Jefferson, but
Rager was still available, and I was thinking about it, but especially at how early we did it, we do it right away after the draft is done, so that there's not a lot of time for that group think to set in, and you have to actually do your own research. So it's tough. Yeah, you're throwing shots in the dark, and then some of those guys won't even play for 2 years, and they're sitting there on your team, and you don't know what to do with them. So it's a lot of monitoring, like the scouting reports, even on a year like their rookie year. You still have to look at like what are coaches saying about him. Is he on the upswing to play more snaps next year? I mean, it's like I said, you are like almost a real GM, and so there's a lot more you have to pay attention to year round instead of just during the season.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're not spending too much money on it.
Yeah, it's $100 a year.
It's not bad.
And then you always have the chance of winning $1,000 at the end. So
definitely, I made a promise. I'm not going to spend more than $50 gambling a year, and it used to be 40 of that went to fantasy football, but now it's just lottery tickets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't do that much, but I do love to throw down on some sporting events. I'm trying to keep. It's a bad habit, so I try not to do it as much. But I haven't done it in a while. But man, with some sports coming back on and stuff, I have to say it's tempting to be like, let me see what kind of action I can get into.
Yeah, betting on Korean baseball.
I looked at it and it was just, I had no information to go on. So I was like, that would have just been, it's like roulette almost, just red or black.
Pretty much. Although, do you do any video poker at all?
I used to. Back when poker was getting real big, I was super into it. I would play with people, I'd play online, but I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, I started to get in the rabbit hole, and then it was one of those things where I'd go to the casino and I'd say, I'm gonna make $100, and I would make $100, and then anything over that I wouldn't be able to make. It's like if I thought I'm just gonna play till I'm finished, I always lose money. But if I set the goal, I'd always be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's a good plan. Um, yeah, see, for me, I'd have to actually make money though to reach a goal. So I don't know what goal. I don't know how where I'd set my goal for that because it seems like I never win anything anyway. So
It's all incremental. You start with 100, you do that for a couple weeks, and then you're like, oh, I got a nice little bankroll. I'm bumping
yeah,
up to 150.
yeah. I will say that with sports gambling, if you take the time and put in research, I'm not saying it's guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination, but you can treat it like the stock market and look for those incremental gains. So if you're satisfied with gaining maybe 15% for every time you put in the research, then you could probably do all right. But it's just, I don't have the patience, I guess. And I'm like,
Yeah,
damn it, I want to make money now.
exactly. It's That's why I go for the Mega Millions, big jackpots. Just because if I make the money, I want to make the money where I never have to make the money ever again.
Sure, okay.
It's I already got my plan. Set some money aside. For the families, set some money aside for the future, and then just buy a big house in the desert and never bother anybody. That's
Yeah?
Yeah. Why not? I'm not
Is
gonna.
this typed up? Is this plan like formal document?
No, it's all in the mind. I
Okay.
should get it notarized though.
But you've thought about this though. You've taken some time to.
Well, the way I look, you buy a $2 lottery ticket, and that $2, you for spending $2, you get to imagine what it'd be like to be a multi millionaire. It's like walking into the casino. You're paying for the casino experience. That's
Sure.
why, paying for the $2 ticket. That $2 lets you think what you're gonna do when you win all that money. That's the lottery experience. That's what you're paying the $2 for.
Ah, I never thought about it that way.
So. So for a little fun, what would I do if I won capitalism?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you put it that way. That's $2 well spent.
Yeah,
I mean, shit. Especially looking at the world around you right now. A lot of people would pay $2 just for that moment of peace to think about. What if?
yeah. How is Cleveland, by the way? Are there protesters there?
Um. Yeah. So I feel terrible, but with the quarantine, I feel like I'm out of the loop on things. I found out about a movement yesterday, and I by the time I realized it was going on, we looked at some pictures on social media, and we both were thinking that, man, if we knew about it, we probably would have went down and participated. Um, and then I was just on a run earlier, and my phone started going crazy. Like I was like thought it was an Amber Alert or something. And the mayor had just put out a curfew for tonight downtown. Um, so that makes me think. I mean, obviously, I don't think anything has popped off too big, but they're trying to be proactive.
Yeah,
But I almost think the curfew declaration might incite more people to want to go down. At
yeah,
least that was my thought.
yeah. Exactly. We're just trying to be safe down here. We support all the protesters and the people who want justice, but
Absolutely.
it's just not safe to leave the house.
No, yeah, it's one of those things where I I I understand it,
Yeah.
but I guess it's not my reaction. But then again, it affects me differently. And
Yeah.
I understand that. I guess I studied a lot of social activism. I have a bachelor's in history, and I always prescribed, I guess, to more of the pacifist view when it comes to just getting social justice.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I mean, you look at all this looting and stuff. You can make an argument that the upper class loots the lower class every single day. So it's like, you know what? What's if it's going the other direction now? All of a sudden, it's a problem. So I see it both ways. I understand it. I'm not going to say it's. Who am I to say something is right or wrong? You know.
Exactly. You know, but you're far away from all the action, right?
Yeah, it's been very quiet. And what we followed yesterday on social media looked very peaceful, but also very powerful. Big crowds. Yeah, Cleveland is a really socially active place right now, so I would have been surprised not to see something.
Yeah. We sort of looked out down here in Long Beach because we're close enough where if anyone wants to go up and protest and make their voices heard, they just go up to L.A. and sort of leave our downtown alone.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so we're lucky for that, but still, I got a lot of friends who are, I know a lot of people who were marching yesterday, and I just,
Yeah.
I just want them to be safe and, want them
Right.
to change the system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But until then, I just gotta thank God that my fridge is full, so whenever I could sort of wait this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're still a little west of downtown, so we can. There would really be nothing in our neighborhood where we're at. So there's even if something did dust up downtown, it wouldn't really spill over to where we are. So it is. I'm thankful to be in kind of the quiet part of the city.
For sure. All right, so rounding third, let's come home and talk about something very close to you, the Browns.
Oh man, yeah.
Would you classify yourself as a Browns fan?
Big time, yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna get some hard-hitting emotional questions on this one.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So in the next 30 seconds, name as many Brown quarterbacks since 1999.
Okay.
Ready?
We'll start at the beginning. Yeah.
And go.
Tim Couch, Jeff Garcia, Ty Detmer, Spurgeon Wynn. Gosh, I gotta move on. I'm losing track here. I'm looking. Johnny Manziel, Jeff Garcia. I already said him.
Time. Let's see.
Oh my goodness.
Bobby Hoyer, Kelly Holcomb. Let's see. Was Seneca Wallace a Browns quarterback?
Seneca Wallace. I was trying to think of the backup to Cam Newton for all these years. He just retired.
Oh.
Derek Alexander. That's who it was. He was our only winning quarterback.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, I'm a diehard Green Bay Packer fan, so whenever I've literally had four quarterbacks since 1992. So.
Yeah.
So
we didn't even get into the recent when we had Deshaun Kaiser. I said Johnny Manziel, but Brian Hoyer, who was actually still in the league. Brady Quinn. I mean Colt McCoy. We didn't. Yeah.
Who is that?
See, now that the clock's off, I can go back. Without the pressure.
Yeah. Who is that 28-year-old that you guys drafted?
Oh yeah, Brandon Weeden. I mean, yeah. See what I mean? It's just been a carousel.
I know. It gets to the point, from an outsider's view, of just watching Browns fans and just saying, you could move on to Pittsburgh or something. You could pick another. You could literally pick an NFC team. You could easily just move your allegiances to Seattle, for example.
Sure.
You guys rarely play them. They got a solid ownership group. They got good general management, and no one would. And Russell Wilson is a likable guy, So but it's the Browns. It's you know,
Yeah, it's a culture thing, for sure. We take pride in the losing, I think. And if anyone refutes that, I think they're lying. I mean, because if you don't take pride in the losing, what else are you taking pride in? Like, I mean, really, at this point, I mean, yeah, they party hard. So, like I said, that's part of the culture. A lot of the time, it's just an excuse to party. You know, I mean, we know that they're going to be bad, so it's all about the tailgating and the after parties and the Deering party. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah, and
Anything to take your mind off the actual game, you know?
exactly. I got a perfect saying for this because I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan, and for years, and we're talking decades, we were the worst team in baseball. Uh, I would say I'd rather be happy when they win than pissed off when they don't.
Right, there you go.
The Browns, it's always there's always two or three things that make every season that just are fun. That it's only the Browns.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Yeah, and I love what you said about the kind of like the expectations, right? If you go in with that expectation, like we're gonna lose and they win, you're happy. But if they lose, you're just like, hey, that's what I expected. Yeah.
I know, and from Miles Garrett helmet swinging to just Freddie Kitchens setting it up.
Oh my gosh, man, that was that last season couldn't have been Brownsier. You know, it's like we had everything. The table was set. You know, you could smell the meal. It was about to come to you, and the Browns just did, you know, the Brownsy things ever. That's what they do. They Browns everything up. So
Yeah, if only Joe Thomas didn't retire.
yeah.
No.
Well, he's still, you know, we get him on the local news and sometimes doing play-by-play and on the radio. So he didn't go back home. He's staying in Cleveland. So that's something, I guess.
Yep. Well, he's a former Wisconsin Badger, so he has my full support.
I knew that, but I didn't want to call Wisconsin home because I just knew he went to college there.
Yeah. No,
I don't know where.
he still has family there. He grew up in I want to say Pewaukee, which is about 40 miles west of where I grew up. So I'm well familiar with the Thomases.
I was going to say, man, you got this guy's full history.
Yeah, I tend to follow my Badgers, especially if they're Hall of Fame level.
All right. Well, speaking of another Badger, then, what do you think of Jonathan Taylor landing in Indianapolis?
I am a huge Jonathan Taylor fan. He's a workhorse. He's at his absolute peak. He's a Curtis Martin type, a sort of a Frank Gore. One of those guys who could just take punishment and keep giving. Just keep giving the ball. It's not really his big play ability that you want with him. It's his, it's just consistency, and he'll always give you positive yards.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the fit, and like I said, I wasn't in the top part of my draft anyways. I traded out of it because I couldn't make that decision.
Yeah.
And plus, I'd rather trade for a guy I know about than a question mark. No matter how good these guys are coming out, you never know what's going to happen. But I didn't like the fit there. I mean, it seems like they have a big back in Marlon Mack, and they have the pass catcher in Hines. So I was like, I don't know what they're doing. My fear is that he's going to sit on the bench and not get to maybe prove his stuff there.
In situations like that, I always tell myself they went. What'd they go last year? 5-11, 6-10.
Oh man, the Colts.
Yeah.
I think they were. I thought they were better than that because they beat the Chiefs last year.
Yeah, they started out great, but they just took a nosedive.
Yeah.
So.
And they had a lot of injuries and stuff, but both their best receivers, Paris Campbell and
T.Y.
Hilton. Yeah. Both on my fantasy team, by the way.
Yeah, the way I see it with teams like that, if you're in a downward trajectory, you'll just make moves and just flip personnel around enough
Yeah.
just to get. I could guarantee you that Taylor's definitely going to get a look. He'll definitely have some games where he's the number one, and but Eckler is definitely one of those guys who he's the man now. Everybody knows his abilities. They got the offense for him.
Yeah.
The coach likes him.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the guy was selling him for the price that I got him for. I mean, in my league, everybody is selling on this guy. I don't know why.
Hello?
25% of that is still a running back one. So
Yeah.
That's so I traded my third overall, and my second rounder for Eckler, and then the 8th overall. So essentially, I turned my third into Eckler, and then I even got to move up my second round to the first round. So I think the guy was just desperate to get into the top 3. He wanted J.K. Dobbins, who we got, but I think Eckler is going to be huge this year.
Definitely. All right, so let's wrap up. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to tell the quintillions of viewers?
Right. I hope we just didn't bore them with fantasy football draft prospect talk and positions and all that. After I got done, I was like, oh my God, I was so excited to talk about this, and it sounds so boring coming out of my mouth.
Fantasy football teams are like kids. No one cares about them unless they're your own.
Yeah. That is exactly true. That is very true.
All right, well, Torey, thanks for being a guest, and thank you guys for listening to Hunker Down with Seth.